March 15th, 44 BC, the Ides of March. It began as your average day in Rome. No one could have ever expected a tragedy to occur. Today, we revisit a dark day in Roman history, one that will never be forgotten. We here at Special Roman Unit have exclusive access, never before seen accounts and eyewitnesses. We are here to determine the dark truth behind the assassination of the famous Roman general and politician Gaius Julius Caesar.
Hello, Rome. My name is Carrie, and today we are going to delve into this tragedy. Alongside me, I have our first witness, Pompeia. Pompeia will give us her insight on the death of Caesar. Now, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. Thank you so much for asking. I never thought that my first television appearance would have to deal with something really so sad. And it kind of makes me tear up every time I have to think about it.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. Would you like to tell us how you knew Caesar?
I didn't personally know Caesar, but his death very much impacted me. I had to watch his death firsthand alongside my brother and his friend, and I watched the senators, all 23 of them, stab him 23 times. And every time I try to fall asleep, or every time I want to fall asleep, I could only see his death in my nightmares every single day, and it haunts me every single night. And we were trying to protect our father, Cinna, and that's why we were there. And never, ever, ever would I have expected us just to be in that theater, and all of a sudden his life would end there. So we were trying to protect our father, and all of a sudden I couldn't even protect my brother and his friend because it just happened. And his death was in the theater, and all 23 senators stabbed him.
Wow. I can't imagine such a traumatizing experience at such a young age. Oh, and you say that your family was there, your father?
So no, he wasn't actually in the theater when it happened. It was just me, my brother, and his friend. But my father was the reason why we were all there. So long story actually, the senators gave my father a box, and he was very confused. And there were 3 senators, and they went to our house at night, and they gave him a box with a dagger, and he did not want to accept it, but he had to. No. Because he was afraid he did not accept that box. And there was a dagger in it. And the senator said that my father had to be the one that killed Julius Caesar. And my father was very hesitant about it, and he did not want to do it. And instead, he warned Julius Caesar by writing him a letter. And he wanted to make it very clear that the future of Julius Caesar, he will definitely be surrounded by danger. But Julius Caesar did not listen to him. He was a silly man, and although he was brilliant, he did not listen to my father's warnings.
Wow, so your father is almost a hero. He tried to warn Caesar that this was all going to happen.
Yeah, but what can we do now?
And what became of your father, Cinna?
So it was all so chaotic, but basically we thought that he died because on the road there was a guy named Cinna who was dead, and the crowd murdered this Cinna. And so we were all in panic, and we thought it was our father. But it was just this random guy, and he was a poet named Cinna. And he had nothing to do with our father. But the crowd of Rome, the Roman citizens thought that that poor poet, that innocent man, was the reason why Julius Caesar died, even though he had nothing to do with it. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but over there, you see that man over there?
Yes, I do.
That's Marc Anthony. I was very afraid when I saw his face for the first time. I don't know if you know what happens in like Roman customs, but there's a holiday that we celebrate as Romans, and it's called Lupercalia. And this is when priests and leaders of Rome and people of higher authority, they go around and they hit women with sticks in order for those women to become fertile and to be able to have children.
We are feminine, perky too. Non ti merito, Pompeia. Ogni es dies vestis Lupercalia. Okay.
And I was still young when it all happened, but I was talking to my father about it because I saw everything happen. And I told my father, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. Why are these innocent women being hit by these men with branches? And it turned out that Marc Anthony was the man that hit me.
Wow, I was not previously aware of Lupercalia. Thank you so much for telling us and telling us all about all of this.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. Oh, wait, actually, before I go, it's really hard to talk about because his death still is so vivid in my mind. But Julius Caesar, he was nothing like Rome ever had before. He had a heart of gold. He cared so much for the Roman citizens. It was like he was part of my family. And every single person that lived in Rome when he died, they were all impacted by his death. Whether they knew him personally, whether they didn't know him personally. I was very much afraid of Marc Anthony because he was the one that hit me with the branch during Lupercalia. But now I think he's ready to be interviewed also. And even though I was afraid of him and what he did to me, he now is experiencing so much pain after the death of his beloved friend. And I just want to let you know that whatever you hear and all the other interviews that you have with the other people, they will tell you everything that I just told you and how wonderful of a man he was.
Thanks for sharing. Now, I think we do need to speak to Marc Anthony.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you, Marc Anthony. I was just speaking to Pompeia and she pointed me over to you. Now, I want to know, were you very close to Julius Caesar?
Yes, I was very close to Julius Caesar. He and I were just like brothers. We were supposed to die at the same time when we were 101 years old. He was my best friend and he was taken from me far too soon.
Oh.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Now, were you expecting the senators to kill him? Was there any ongoing tensions or past tension?
At least that's what I thought until I saw the letter.
The letter? What letter?
It was the letter that Cinna wrote to Caesar. It was a warning about the Ides of March. Caesar, I feel like he knew he was in danger, but he always ignored it, you know? And when he read the letter, he didn't even think much about it, and he just gave me the letter to read.
So Caesar didn't have that sort of self-preservation, you would say. Can you tell us any more characteristics of Caesar?
Well, like I said, me and Caesar were just like brothers. And I'm not sure if you knew this, but he was actually already dying. He was very sick. He had epilepsy.
I was not aware of this. Caesar was a sick man. That changes quite a lot, my perspective. So, would you say you had the funeral planned because of his sickness? What was the funeral like?
Well, of course I attended his funeral. I never thought that he would die so soon. He had it for so long, I didn't think that he was going to be taken from me. Of course, I gave a eulogy on his funeral day, and it was so beautiful. He gave every Roman citizen his money.
That was just beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I just wanted to say that you clearly love Caesar like family, and I'm really sorry for your loss. I just have one more question. Caesar had siblings?
Yes, he had 2 sisters, in fact, and they're outside, in fact.
Perfect. I think it's time for the next interview. Let's go.
I'll leave it to you.
Thank you.
Hello, Julia Minor. I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. Would you like to share with us your fondest memories of Caesar?
What's with her?
Can you just give her some time? She's having a moment. Her life has been taken away from us in the blink of an eye. We still can't wrap our heads around it. Caesar was the definition of a good man. So, he was the best brother I could have ever imagined. He cared so much for his sister and more for Rome. So you can interview me first. I'm Julia.
All right, it's really nice to meet you, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, Julius Caesar was a wonderful man, and I'm sure he was an even better brother. Would you like to tell us anything more about him?
Well, growing up, Julius was always very mature. Our dad did pass away when we were young. But anyways, before Julius learned how to walk, he was learning to read and write. And once he could, he was studying law. And he knew all about Roman politics. He was extraordinary. That's Julius for you. That Julius cared more about Rome and his family than he ever cared for himself.
At the theater, the senator said that Caesar wants to be a dictator. Is that true?
Julius never wanted to dominate in power. He purely wanted the best for Roman people. The senators were so focused on the negative perspectives of Julius that they never realized of all the great accomplishments he's achieved.
I'm alright now. Is it my turn? Can you repeat the question?
She asked that Caesar ever wanted to be a dictator. I told her that Caesar was the exact opposite. He just wanted a happy and healthy Rome.
Julius, him, a dictator. My brother wasn't home often, but when he was, I had the happiest of days. He loved the Roman people so much. He did everything he could for them. I mean, take any Roman off the street and they would tell you how much he loved them.
When our father died, Julius was torn apart. There was a hole in his heart, and as a son, he became the head of the family when he was just a boy. A boy! And soon enough, he went off to war and came back an honorable and respected man. Our brother adored and was adored by the people. The senators had tarnished his reputation with nonsense of Julius wanting to be a dictator.
I'm so sorry for that loss. It seems like he was the light of both your lives. But he will be remembered as the greatest man Rome ever saw. So, you're Pompeia's brother, right? Cornelius, it's very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
I've had a couple of questions on Caesar. I mean, I'd like to hear your opinion on such a respected ruler being killed in such a brutal manner.
I'm not sure I'll be of much help, but I'll say all that I can. Caesar was truly a great ruler, and he truly loved all of Rome, including the people. He was really similar towards the people of Rome, and it saddens me to think that his family and the people of Rome won't be seeing Caesar anymore.
Of course, it's a true tragedy. I've been meaning to ask, since your sister spoke about it, well, what was the situation with your father and the senators and the plan to assassinate Caesar? What all went down?
It happened at midnight when I was sleeping, but suddenly I heard faint whispers coming from my father's office.
Oh, Cornelius, tu non dormis.
Non dormio quia volo audire hominis, qui visitant patrem, cur tu non dormis.
Ego quoque volo omnia audire. O frater, vine. Sum curiosus volo operare arcam. O frater, videa pugionum.
Went up and tried to see what was going on, but me and Pompeia, my sister, bumped into each other, and so we tried to sneak up on the room with our father, and we saw 3 senators with our father. I think it was Cascus, Cassius, and Brutus.
Hello, Roscus, right? It's a pleasure to meet you. I wanted to talk to you about your father and what happened and what he meant by knowing all of this before.
Yes, well, I really didn't know Caesar was going to get murdered that day, but my father and I knew something through our bad omen. Basically, when we sacrificed a bull that day, my father saw that there was no heart, and I also did too, see that there was no heart. And that's when I realized that this meant that something bad was going to happen to Rome.
O Roscus, noli sacrificum timere, specta me.
O pater, meus victore!
Cor? Cor?
Cor?
Bovi non habet cor.
Bovi non habet cor? Impossibile est.
O Roscus, ego scio est impossible. Est omen malum.
Quid significant hoc omen malum, o pater?
Roma est in magnum periculum.
If only we knew how to stop it, Rome wouldn't be in danger.
Absolutely, I can't imagine how that feels. It seems that Caesar felt that he could have been warned many times before this. Now, I want you to tell me, what did you do, and you and your father too, after discovering Rome was in danger?
Well, my father, Spurrina, he loved Caesar, and he really knew he was a good man. And my father, he really tried his best to warn Caesar that Caesar was in danger. But Caesar, being the stubborn man he was, he didn't even want to listen. I remember one time, my father yelled across the road to warn him, but Caesar didn't even listen to him, and everyone looked, and my father got humiliated, but still, he wanted to warn Caesar no matter what.
Can you tell us more about your time on the road?
Of course. My father, Spurrina, he's a very passionate man. And after he found out that Caesar was in danger, I saw him and Marc Anthony walking by on the road. And my father started screaming at Caesar. And he was yelling for them. But Caesar thought it was all a joke. And he left, didn't even look back at them. And people just started laughing at us. And it made me feel upset. Not more so my father. Though he cared about Caesar, I was just upset because why would Caesar just do such a thing?
I see. Well, you say that he did not give up, and he was there in the theater the day that he was killed?
Yeah, my father, he's a man who never gives up, and that's what I really look up to him for. He was determined to warn Caesar. In fact, he was there when Caesar was killed.
He was?
He was.
Can you tell us more about what he told Caesar?
Sure. Well, I remember him repeating "cave" to him, but Caesar again didn't believe his warning. He told my father that across the road, my father started screaming at Caesar and yelling for him, but Caesar thought it was all a big joke, and he left, and the people were just laughing around it at us.
So after that incident, did your father give up, or did he keep trying?
No, he definitely did not give up. He was determined to warn Caesar, and in fact, he was there when Caesar was killed.
He was there when he died? Wow. Can you elaborate more on what he told him in that event?
Yes, of course. Well, this is a little difficult for me. I'm really sorry because I was there and I'm only a kid. But when if I remember right, I was there and I remember him repeating "cave" to him. But again, Caesar didn't believe his warning. He told my father, how is he gonna die? And how is his life always in danger? And he was saying he was never afraid and he's a strong man. But I knew in my heart that my father was going to be right and that there's something definitely wrong.
Thank you for sharing. If only Caesar had heard these warnings from your father, from anyone, maybe he could have been spared. Thank you for your time. It was great interviewing you and nice to meet you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
On to our next interview. Nice to meet you, sir. You must be Cinna. I was just speaking to your kids.
Very nice to meet you. I'm sure this interview is about Julius Caesar. Such a brilliant young soul that was taken too soon from Rome.
Yep, it is about Caesar. I can only imagine the pain that the Romans are feeling. Now, did you know about the plan to assassinate Caesar?
I did. The senators visited me in my study in the middle of the night and they came up with a plan to assassinate Caesar and they wanted me to kill Caesar.
I see. Now, they offered you some sort of weapon?
They presented me with a box and I wasn't sure what was inside, but I found out that there was a dagger inside and they wanted me to kill Caesar with the dagger. I was scared to take the box because I didn't want to kill Caesar, but I feared that if I didn't take the box, I would put my children in danger.
He knew? What do you mean that he knew?
Caesar knew about the plan. He knew that he was going to die in the theater that day, but he was sick. He was deathly sick and he didn't want to die alone at home on his bed. He wanted to die a real death.
Wow, he really was the greatest that Rome has ever had. Now, I'm just wondering, were you there when Caesar died?
No, I was in hiding, but my children were there. I was horrified to hear about this, but they saw everything. They saw the senators circling Caesar with the pen and the daggers. They saw Caesar's last moments.
Oh, those poor children. I can't imagine the sort of trauma that might come with that. But thank you for telling me about it. Is there anyone else I can interview that might have known about the death of Caesar before it even happened?
You can interview Spurrina, the Haruspecs.
I'll give him a call. Thank you so much for being in this interview, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, and take care.
Good evening, Spurrina. Thank you for joining us. I know this is a difficult situation to talk about, but we do have a couple questions if you're willing to answer them.
Of course, I hope I can help.
Well, for starters, let's talk about how did you know to warn Julius Caesar about the assassination?
Well, it's a really long story, but if you'd like to hear it, I can tell you.
We definitely have time for that. Well, it is supposed to be an interview.
As a priest, I sacrifice animals, and depending on what I see, I can tell the future.
Wow, and this helped you with the Julius Caesar situation?
Well, yes. So one day when I was going to sacrifice a bull with my son, we opened it up and it had no heart.
No heart?
Yes, and this is a very bad sign. When an animal has no heart, it means something terrible is going to happen.
And you knew of this, and you immediately decided, well, now I gotta figure out what's going on with Rome.
Of course, as soon as I found out, I knew I had to warn Caesar that something terrible was going to happen.
But it didn't really work out, did it?
Well, I tried my best to warn him, but all he ever did was laugh.
You can't blame yourself. You tried your best to warn him, and it didn't work, but you tried.
Thank you. You're really kind, but my mind just keeps bringing me to guilt, thinking I could have done more.
I'm so sorry. If you're comfortable, I'd like to ask you more about what really happened when he died.
Well, there were 23 senators who just showed no mercy to him and they stabbed him to death.
Good.
And it was just such a horrible scene. It just makes me think that I could have done more.
Wow, I can't imagine witnessing such a horrible turn of events. But is there anything else you could say about it?
Well, despite it being such a tragedy, something beautiful did happen after his death. I remember hearing noise outside, and I just could hear the crowd looking up in the sky. And when I looked up, there was a beautiful meteor, and the people, and so do I, believe that it was Caesar, that he is now a god, and he's looking over at the Roman people. And I don't think any of us will ever forget him, and I don't think he'll ever forget us either.
That is quite beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. One good thing might have come out of this. Thank you for joining us for this interview. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Of course, thank you for your kind words. My guilt is eased.
And we have finished the interviews. This is going to be at the end of the project, guys. Say hi.
It's 5:30 and I have my math final tomorrow.
I have it too, but that's okay. It's all for you, Miss I. We love you.
Oh my god.
Hi, Iqra.
What?
We're cleaning up your desk now, Miss I. I mean, classroom. You're welcome.
What's funny about me? Ready? Okay.
2, 1, begin.
Iqra!
That was so good.
You're too good.
I'm not working with people that have no talent.
Oh no.
No, she's not screaming box at me.
Okay. She's screaming.
Box!
And then you go.
I actually think I cracked this thing in half.
Oh no.
Well, I'm actually natural.
Uh-oh.
Okay, ready?
Okay. Good. Ready, guys? Walk towards us.
Look serious. Look stern. Okay. And then Iqra.
It's a blooper. Make this into a blooper. And big. And on my face.
Wait, no, it's turned off. Okay, ready?
That's okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Sum curiosus, volo apere arcam. Wait, no, ready? Sum curiosus.
2.
Oh, wait.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Vodka!
Fuck you.
I'm sorry, that last part was a little bit unclear to me.
We record you and
That's
take like before the flashbacks.
yeah.
No, can we just go home?
Because I'm not
right after you
say
keeping
that.
the video.
Right
Yeah.
after you say that should be fine.
So I'll add that. So we were just curious to try to protect her father.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, let's just say that. So the video's still going on.
Yes, perfect.
Wait, am I killing it or
Yes, you
Amazing.
are. Let's go.
Alright, let me know when we're ready.
Okay, ready?
Stop and start.
What?
Pater, I can't do it.
2, 1.
Vodka! Pugio!
Quid ridis, O Pompeia.
Oh, frater, we deo pugionum. Shut up.
2,
Go.
1, begin.
Nice to meet you, Cinna, right? Yes.
Okay, ready?
2, 3, oh damn it. 2, 1.
We deo it.
What's my laugh? I think we're good. My brother.
Quid ridis, O Pompeia.
Oh, frater, we deo. besides
Sorry, I blinked out.
Why does he know?
O Roscus, noli sacrificum timere. Spectamen.
Oh, Pater. Neos Victor, I almost fell down.
Okay, come on, keep going. You're fine.
Okay.
3,
2, 1, begin.
Flashback. Flashback, flashback.